Is pull-out best? Before we answer that, let us see what we mean by pull-out. Pull-out simply means taking a child with some handicap or disability out of a regular classroom for a direct one-to-one instruction time with an adult. Is that the best solution for a child with disability or handicap? Will this child with handicap or disability learn better in a one-on-one setting opposed to being part of a 20, 25, 30-some classroom of regular children? Ask yourself, why can't the skill be taught in the general classroom? Whatever I'm going to teach the child with the disability or handicap, why can't it be done in a regular classroom with, of course, some accommodations? Provisions will need to be made, and this is the responsibility of the educator. You can't throw a handicapped child in a regular classroom and then do nothing about it. When the child is in the regular classroom, something will need to be done. Some accommodations will need to be made. So asking yourself as the teacher of the child, what is it in a regular classroom that this child will not be able to do? Or what is it that I will need to do in the regular classroom to make sure this child learns in my classroom with the other students? Also ask, are there ways to change it so it could be taught there, meaning in the regular classroom? After all, with a one-on-one setting, I am the teacher, I have one handicapped child. I mean, I could get bored in an hour or so working with this child, and with my boredom, I am not likely to bring about interest or excitement in the handicapped child trying to learn. Because normally when you do this one-on-one settings, the rooms are small, there is not much setup in the room, and you are doing boring stuff with the child. The child who is already bored, we bore further by putting him in a one-on-one setting with a teacher. The child should be able to do the same tasks in a regular classroom if the teacher in charge is willing to make all necessary accommodations that the child will need in order to be successful in the regular classroom. So asking these two questions, why can't this happen in a regular classroom? And if it can happen, if the answer is yes, it can happen, then what changes do you need to really make in order to be successful with the handicapped child? And these questions must be answered in the planning stage, not when the implementation stage is required. Planning will need to be done for accommodations, for changes, for anything that needs to be modified so that the child with the handicap will be able to successfully learn in a regular classroom. The teacher needs to do that, and the head or the principal needs to prompt the teacher. The head or the principal needs to be aware of the handicapped children in any particular classroom in his or her school, and then help the teacher plan accordingly to include this child or children in the regular setting. While the student is in pull-out, she misses what is going on in the general classroom. How do you help the child catch up on what he or she has missed? Pull-out is not a one-on-one for the entire school day. It's for part of the day. What happens when the child comes back to the regular classroom? The child has missed 30, 40, 50 minutes of work in the regular classroom. What happens to that missed work? How do you expect the child to catch up and continue when he has missed 30 or 40 minutes of work in the regular classroom? How will skills learned in pull-out time help the students spend more time in the general classroom? In the 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever minutes the child missed from the regular classroom and was on a one-on-one with the student, the child has learned something. How will that learning be translated into the regular classroom when the child comes there? I think pull-outs confuse the child with disability more than help the child, especially if it happens regularly, consistently, and frequently every day. The child needs to do whatever the child is doing in the regular classroom with accommodations.